Today I'm going to take you through some basic movement skills that you can do on a trampoline. So whether it's in your backyard at home, or maybe you get the chance to practice on a trampoline at school. Now just make sure that you don't perform any of these tricks without supervision and permission from your parents or your teachers, and don't try to do anything that you're not too comfortable with, because we need to stay safe at all times. So let's jump straight to it. So when we start jumping on the trampoline, we want to jump in the middle of the area. Now sometimes there's a cross or a marking to show where to jump. That's that center point. We want to try and stay in that area. Now when we're jumping, we want to try and stay nice and controlled, nice and straight. You can see I'm keeping my chest up. I'm not bending my knees too much. I'm just bouncing off my toes. And it's also good to make it look good by keeping your feet together and your toes pointed as well. So get comfortable jumping and just bouncing in the middle of the trampoline. Once you're comfortable with that, you can maybe grab yourself, I've got a small tennis ball here, and you're just gonna practice passing it over your head each jump, okay? And it's just to help you stay nice and controlled in the air. Remember, legs together, point your feet. And if you ever lose control, we do what we call a motorbike landing. So if you lose control, you feel like you're getting out of position, you just absorb that bounce by bending your knees. It's pretending like you're riding a motorbike, putting your arms up. So you're bouncing. If you lose control, you just got to do a motorbike landing and absorb all that movement. Firstly, I'm going to show you some gymnastics shapes. The first shape we're going to do is a pencil jump. A pencil jump is nice and strong and straight. Your arms are above your head, reaching straight high above you, and your legs and your feet are going to be nice and straight together. So when we jump, we're going to jump into a pencil, and you can see I'm pointing my toes. I'm trying to stay as straight as I can in a pencil position. Okay, so you can really try and stay as straight as you can, bouncing off your toes. And that is called a pencil jump. Remember, staying in the middle of the trampoline, controlled and straight. And when you've done 3, 1, 2, 3, get that good landing in the motorbike position. The next one is a straddle jump. So this time, a straddle jump, we're going to jump up into the air and we're going to put our legs out in front of us like a V. And we're going to put our hands down in between our legs, okay? So you need to be a little bit flexible for this. You're going to try and kick out in front of you, put your legs into a V. So here we go. Get jumping first, get a little bit of height, and then you're just going to jump and kick out. Okay, you're really trying to get a nice V with your legs, pointing your toes, kicking out in front of you. If you're flexible, you can really get your legs nice and straight out. And that's the straddle. The next one, similar to a straddle, is a star. This time, we're going to be jumping out wide in a star position. So arms out, straight to the side, legs out this time to the side, nice and straight. So let's get bouncing, and we do a big star and then back. Take a couple of bounces in between, as wide as you can in the star position. And you can do it every bounce and landing safely. The next one we're going to do is a tuck. For this one, we're going to jump up in the air and we're going to tuck our knees up into our chest. Now we're going to try and stay upright as we do it. We're going to try not to lean over. Okay, so we're going to bring both our knees to hug into our chest. So take a few bounces, and when you're ready, tuck and back down. You've got to quickly lift your knees up and then back down straight. This is helping you practice when we do front flips and back flips. So that's called a tuck. Get your knees up to your chest. And that's that tuck position. The next one is a pike. For this, we're gonna kick out both our legs out in front of us straight together. And we're gonna point our arms out forward as well. So this is called a pike. So take a few jumps. Again, you need to be flexible if you can, legs straight. Take a few jumps and get really, if you can, keep your feet together, legs straight. It's not easy. The more flexible you are, the easier you'll be able to do these shapes. Let's do one more here, and then landing safely. The last one I'm going to quickly show you are the scissor jumps. For this one, this time, one leg forward and one leg back. And you're going to put your arms up into the air. So it's like your legs are like scissors. Okay, so take a few jumps. We're going to try and really reach out ahead of us. So we're jumping, and here, really try and reach out. You can switch legs each time. Your legs are scissors, and then you can speed that up. Point your toes if you can. And that's the gymnastic shapes. So get practicing with those, get comfortable with them, and then you can move on to the next section. Now we're going to do some jump turns. And this is when we twist in the air as we jump. Now, to help us jump and turn, it's good to use your arms. So we can use our arms to help us to turn around in the air. We're going to start off with a quarter turn. And you can just practice doing these jumps, these quarter turns, left and right, just making sure you're nice and straight. Make it look good. Make it controlled. You see I'm jumping very strong and straight in the air. The next one is a half turn. A half turn is where we're facing one way and we turn all the way to face the other way. So this time you've got to use your arms a bit more, use your hips as well, staying strong and straight in the air. So half turns. Keep it controlled. Also known as 180-degree turns. Okay, and then the last one we can do is a 360. That's where we jump and turn all the way around, finishing facing the same way we started. You might need to jump a little bit higher, and you're gonna really use your arms, stay strong and straight. Take your time, and here we go. And remember, use that motorbike landing to help you so you don't lose that control. Let's go one more here. And that is the jump turn. So get practicing doing just quarters, over to halves, over to 360s. Now we're going to look at some different bounces. The first one we're going to do is a seat drop. That's when we jump into the air and we land on our bottom on the trampoline with our legs out, pointing in front of us. Our hands are going to be touching the trampoline, and then we're going to push to jump to stand back up. So very simply, we can take a few jumps, and we're just going to practice like we're sitting down on the trampoline. And we want to keep this nice and straight. Keep your legs together, keep your feet pointed, and safely jump back up to your feet. You can use your hands to help push you back up. Okay, so I'm using my arms and my hands to just push back up onto my feet. So once you've practiced that, you can then just do a few in a row. And that's the seat drop. And then you can progress it to a swivel hip. A swivel hip is where you do a seat drop facing this way, and then you extend your arms, you twist your whole body, and then you do a seat drop facing the other way, and then you stand up. So you do a seat drop, and stand up. It's known as a swivel hip. We're really using our hips and our arms to swivel around. So it should look something like this. And that is the swivel hip and the seat drop. The next bounce is a front drop, also known as a belly bounce. So for this one, we're going to be bouncing on our front and then landing back up on our feet. Now we're not bouncing on our face, but we're going to use our hands. So you can make a diamond and hold that diamond out in front of you, and we're going to bounce onto that diamond. And the same way we used our hands in the seat drop, we're going to be using our hands to help push us back up. So take a few small bounces and use that diamond, not bouncing on your face, that's not going to be fun, just to do that front drop. And once you've practiced that, you can even practice just bouncing on your hands and your knees. So you might like to just practice bouncing hands, knees, and then standing up. So you can do hands and knees to a front drop and then stand back up. There's a small little combo already. Make sure you always finish with a nice motorbike landing and make it look good, and that's the front drop. Back drops. For this one, we need to be a little extra careful. Make sure don't do it if you're not comfortable with it. We're going to be jumping onto our back and then landing back on our feet. Now when we're jumping, we're not landing on the top part of our back or our neck or our shoulders. We're just landing and bouncing off that bottom half of your back, okay? So to help you practice, just start from standing, and we're just going to practice jumping and falling back, bouncing off our back to our feet. So just going to practice from standing without a bounce, without a big jump. Just practice dropping onto your back, okay? You can see I'm using my legs to help me get back up, and you can also use your arms. And that's just called the back drop. So once you've practiced that a few times, you can then add a little bit of a bounce. You can go a little bit higher, and it can become a really fun skill. Okay, so you can go a bit higher. And then another one to practice is just to keep back bouncing without getting up on your feet. So just practice just bouncing on your back. You can use your legs. You can see how I'm using my legs just a little bit to keep me bouncing. That's good fun. Go higher. Keeping that control, you're really engaging your core muscles, your abdominals, using your arms to help you balance. And that's the back drops. They're really good fun. Just make sure you're not going onto your neck or your head. Once you've had a chance to practice those different gymnastic shapes and then the jumps and the bounces, you can start to mix and match them together, make a little combination going in a gymnastics routine. Now whenever we finish a routine, remember we want to finish in a motorbike landing to make it look good and to show that we have that control. So you can piece together maybe 3 or 4 different combinations and put them all together, make it look good. I'll try a combination here, I'll make one up. Here we go. That's one combination you can do. That was a seat drop to a star jump to a half turn and a nice landing. Let's try one, start with the front drop now. That was a front drop to a seat drop to a straddle. You can have fun with it. Maybe you can add even more moves than that. You can always take extra time to bounce and just jump straight in between each different move. Have fun with it and see what you can come up with. You can also have fun by using different PE equipment on the trampoline. I've got a small ball here. Maybe you can practice doing body wraps. So just putting the ball around your waist as you jump. Practice your pikes, put the ball underneath your legs, keeping your legs straight out in front like a pike, or you could even put the ball in and out of your legs, like we're practicing dunks as a basketballer. Okay, so there's loads of different things. Maybe you can think of some other things with a ball. If you have a foam noodle, a good fun one to practice for your tucks is skipping. So you can skip behind and in front with a foam noodle. You can see this is helping me with my tuck jumps, bringing my knees up to my chest. Maybe you have some fun other ideas you can do with a foam noodle or other PE equipment. Hopefully you enjoyed this gymnastics and trampoline session today. And if you're an elementary teacher who's looking to teach gymnastics to your class, then make sure you check out my comprehensive gymnastics pack. And in that resource, it's got over 60 different stations that you'll be able to take through your students over on the wedge, the beam, the trampoline, the floor mats, bars, and using other equipment as well. And I've also pre-recorded videos for every single station. So check that out in the links, and I'll see you next time for some more game-changing sport.